Keep arriving. And we are live on YouTube, so welcome everyone. This is session number 3 for the spiral path of place. We're still going strong. I've written 10 pieces now, so I'm going to read 5 of them out to you tonight. So lovely to see people arriving. You can add your comments and where you are in the world. And we are on Zoom and we're also live on YouTube as well. It's very exciting. So who is here today? Hello, Morven from Brighton. Hi, Leslie Ann. I am great. Hi, Helen from the Channel Islands. Lovely to see you. Anew, hello from Leuven in Belgium. Leuven. Hope I pronounced that right. Hi, Marie-Cécile from France. Marianne, hello again from Bedfordshire. And Regina from Newfoundland in Canada. Wonderful. Hello, Finvola from Ireland. How are you doing? Lovely to see you all here. So yeah, keep adding your names and you can send it to all panelists and attendees, and then that goes to everyone that's here so we can all see the chat. Who's arrived? Hello, Yvonne. Lovely to see you again. And Amy from Cheshire. The dream team by the sounds of things. So yeah, shall we light our candle? Here's one I lit earlier. Still no matches in the Stassen household. So I lit it just before we came on from the hob. Welcome to our sacred storytelling gathering space on this Monday night in February. Spring is arriving to Scotland. The snow is gone. Today was magnificently sunny. You can smell spring in the air. The crocuses are popping through the soil, and our puppy hasn't noticed them yet. I'm sure he would have a nibble if he had seen them. Hopefully they're not poisonous to puppies. Hello, Dana from California. Lovely to see you here. So yeah, how's the weather where all of you are? It's so changeable here, but it's just so nice to feel spring in the air and that warmth coming back. So welcome again. Realized I chose my mug here from Brittany when we were last there with the lovely triple spiral on the base here. So welcome for all of you here from France. I salute you. Wow, Anew, 18 degrees, amazing. Hello, Elizabeth from Florida. I bet it's warm where you are. Yeah, it does feel like summer, doesn't it? Unbelievable. I mean, it's believable. Hi, Sharon. Chilly and rainy in North Carolina. Well, we will send the sunshine your way, heading over your way. We all need a bit of rain, don't we, from time to time as well. Wow, Elizabeth, 59 degrees Fahrenheit. What is that in Celsius? My calculation isn't too good. But yeah, that sounds warm or chilly, not sure. Oh, hi Lee. Rainy, but the house is surrounded by robins. Oh, that's gorgeous. You're in North Carolina. I love the robins and the songs of the robins. Right, shall we get started? Settle in, anyone that's just arrived. We've lit our candle. We have our drink. And I think it's time for storytelling to start. So maybe you've read them in the emails, or maybe you just wait for the surprise of hearing them read live. I don't know what way you choose. But our first one, this is day 6 writing, and it's called Born Anew. So, live, that's it. Yeah, you don't want to duplicate, do you, reading it and then hearing me saying it again? You kind of ruin the punchline. Oh, thanks, Elizabeth. Love to hear you reading to us. So snuggle up for our story time. Sound, yeah. Okay, born anew. The force, the pressure, it's indescribably intense. I'm being squeezed and molded like putty. How can I bear this any longer? I'm moving very, very slowly. Every part of me is being pulled by some unknown force along this path of dense darkness. It's like a tunnel. Or is it a funnel? My eyes are closed, as they have been for the past 9 months. Muffled sounds get louder, louder as I sense an opening, a way out beyond this dense intensity. New sensations assail me. I feel floppy, unsupported, exposed. I'm coughing. I'm spluttering. I hear myself for the very first time, throat dry, releasing all that's clogged me up over my human lifetimes. And then the tears come, fresh, pure, flowing tears of the newborn, tears of shock, sadness, grief. Where am I? Who am I? And who are you? I'm crying, I'm shivering. The umbilical cord is cut, that which connected me to her, my matrilineal line. And then I hear her voice, familiar, soothing, and warm. I feel her touch, caressing my face and my naked body in my vulnerable, stark beauty, nurturing me, settling me, singing sweet songs of comfort back to me. I'm filled with immense surges of joy and love that flow up through me, from my tiny toes to my crown, as she wraps me gently in garments so silky and divine. I feel so supported once again. Smelling her, I drink her milk, feeling it and tickle my dry throat. The struggle is over. Let go. The struggle is over. Let go. She whispers this repeatedly to my tiny, tender ears. You can breathe easy now. Breathe easy. I open my eyes and I see her. I take in her face, her form, each and every feature. I sense her relief, her tiredness, her joy, her strength. Meeting my mother for the first time, I am born anew. I have left the womb of my mother, entering the mother's womb, capital T, capital M. I'm feeling held by her, capital H, as I fall back again and again into her tender, loving arms, rebirthing over and over again on this new spiral path of my life. And that was born anew. And the inspiration for that, so we received the writing prompt in the writing series from Megan Macedo, and then it's up to us to interpret what we're going to write. But I had a session with this wonderful lady in Australia called Henrietta, and she runs an organization called Sacred Leadership. But she does these energetic sessions with her partner, her business partner, and you just plug in at a certain time, and it was incredibly powerful, is all that I say. And then this is partly what I wrote afterwards. So that was 2 weeks ago that I had the session, and that birthed this writing within me. And it was like, gosh, what is it like to be born? Oh, does anyone remember? Have you gone there in a journey? So I was imagining what that could be like. Ah, lovely, so beautiful. Thank you, Yvonne. Leslie Ann, thank you. Beautiful, nurturing words. Yeah. You're welcome. And welcome to those of you that have arrived. While I was reading, you can pop your name and location in the chat if you wish. Thank you, Helena. All distress soothed by your poem. Gorgeous. Oh, Sharon, thank you. You sound brand new. Thank you. Yeah, I like doing these sessions, and part of why I wanted to do them was to help develop my voice as well in a fun and easeful way. So thank you. Shall we have another one? Day 7. And this is called Mama's Cry Too. Oh, thanks, Lee. What a lovely mother relationship. I feel that with the earth and my daughter, not so much with my mother. Yeah, that's all healing the line, isn't it? And I don't know if my mum has read this. I will send it to her. I don't know if she's signed up for these, but I generally send some of what I write to her. That's okay, Francesca. You can arrive at any time you wish. You don't need to apologize. We're on Irish time here. Oh, thanks, Lee. She would love that. Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. Story number 2. Are we ready to dive deeper in? Mama's Cry Too. I think we need the tissues for this one. I cried this morning in front of my son. The intensity of this morning just became too much to bear as he shared his demands with me once again. Back to homeschooling after a few days off for February midterm break. The dynamics of being in lockdown continue and are likely to do so until at least mid-March here in Scotland. We're counting the days. I could feel my eyes filling up with salty, watery liquid until a tear flowed over my cheek, dropping down to the ground. I left the kitchen and lay down in the lounge, alone with my tears. It's not that I consciously hide my tears amidst any particular fears over these years. I cry tears of sadness or happiness when we watch certain programs like Long Lost Families. Don't know if any of you watch that. I love it. Or tears of awe and joy when we watch The Voice. I love that program too. Singing, people come on to sing. Crying tears of overwhelm feels to me like a sacred act that begs some privacy sometimes, releasing the built-up stresses and tensions within me, especially in these times. As I tenderly feel into my humanness. And he, my son, who's 9, came into the lounge and rested his chin on my shoulder. No words were needed. Witnessing me in my raw, vulnerable truth, a gentle kind of power. Mama's cry too, I told him. So that was last Monday, I think it was, my experience. This Monday felt a bit more easeful. And when I chatted to my son after that, I was asking him, did you notice I was crying earlier? How do you think I was feeling? And he was like, I think you were sad, Mom. So, yeah. Thanks, Sharon, sweet. Thanks, Helen. So powerful. Oh, Helen. We have Helen and Helena here. So, yes. Powerful stuff. And it was one of those ones where I thought, oh, I really don't want to write this and share it, but this is what had to come out. It's like the truth that has to emerge through the writing. Otherwise, you'll all sniff it out, won't you? You'll know. Oh, thanks, Leslie Ann. Truly emotive story and loving connection between you both. Yeah, there is. And I'm laughing, just like the tension that can build up sometimes, particularly in these times. Great to have something that really captures lockdown. Yeah, so truly. So many of us are lost in this condition. Yeah. Yeah, it really can be overwhelming, can't it? When we need these release points like these, like storytelling and connecting, even though we can't see each other, we know we're all here. There's 25 of us now, which is wonderful. We're connecting from all around the globe. So thank you all. Okay, day 8. And this one's called Resurrection. I woke, suddenly wide awake. The room was dark with the early winter morning light. I looked towards the end of my bed, and there was my dad, all dressed in his suit, shirt, and tie, as if he was going off to work, gazing kindly over me. Filling with joy, I realized that it had all been a mistake. He wasn't gone. He was alive, right there at the end of my bed. And as suddenly as he was there, he was gone. It was like in the click of a fingers. Joy instantly turned to grief. A grief so pure and weighty, it overwhelmed me. Knowing with dead certainty that he really was gone. It wasn't a dream. Life really was over for him. It was like his final goodbye visiting me that winter's morning. The long Irish goodbye, perhaps. His morning visit happened just a few days after he took that final sacred breath. That out-breath completing his spiral of his 59 years of life. From first in-breath at birth to his final out-breath at death. All of us, his family, extended family, medical staff, surrounding his bed in the hospital where he lay. A healer had come to see him a few days before, hoping he'd perform a miracle of some sort to heal him back to wholeness and rid his every cell and bone of the cancer that was consuming him. I remember paying him a visit in the hospital just as the healer was finishing up. Eyes lowered, the healer didn't make eye contact with me. I knew then it was coming towards the end, with a sad, certain calmness in the coolness of my late teenage years. My father, on the other hand, had his eyes raised upwards, and he appeared to me to be glowing, cheeks rosy, and he knew. He knew, and he was ready as he'd ever be. That's how I feel. He was feeling anyway. And pointing upwards from his hospital bed, he uttered the words, resurrection. And I remember he was just like this, pointing up, resurrection. And that was all he said. A rebirthing is happening, and we're all a part of the journey. As the old paradigms and toxic structures continue to crumble, we're rewriting and creating the new ways of being, of working, of living in communion with our earth and our cosmos. We're rebuilding our elemental foundations and returning to a new kind of balance at the center of our innate power. And I feel it's never the end. There's always a dying, a birthing, and a rebirthing happening. And I'm welcoming all the support I can get on this journey. And I know that my father is one of the many on my S team, my spirit team. And the magical momentum of the spiral continues to swirl as we weave ourselves anew once again. I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Are you? And who's on your S team, spirit team? Oh, thanks, Yvonne. Really looking forward to Monday nights. Maybe this will become a thing. Thank you for listening. I think that one has wanted to be written for a while, but I kind of haven't always felt brave enough to write it. So there you go. Oh, Helen, my late brother, is on my S team. Gorgeous. That brings back memories of my grandpa. Thanks. Thank you, Elizabeth. Sharon, I know, 59 years, that is no age, and he was due to retire the following year. I never remember him talking about retirement though, so yeah. But it's nice to know and to feel that they are here and around us, isn't it? And often, I tend to sense and feel, and sometimes when I'm interacting with people, they're like, oh, he's here, there. So others can see him for me, which is nice too. Okay, day 9. How are we doing? You got your drinks or your morning coffee or your evening tea or water? So this one is called Unchain the Blame, and I wanted to write it on Friday, but it just wasn't coming. It wasn't happening. So it was just really annoying me. So I left it till this morning to finish. Oh, Lee, did anyone see something fly across the screen in the beginning? Oh, I'll have to go and watch the replay now. Elizabeth, thank you, doing great. We're all in this together. Woohoo! Okay, Unchain the Blame. I dream I'm the preacher, coloured in white. Sorry, I'll start again. Rewind. Unchain the Blame. Take 2. I dream I'm the preacher, coloured white and black, preaching a gospel that's distorted and tight. I dream I'm shackled deep underground, with chains so thick and heavy I'm unable to move around. I dream I'm being buried under ancestors' dirt, swallowing my truths as I return to dark earth. Over these multitudes of lives where I go in my dreams, I am the persecutor and the persecuted. I am the betrayer and the betrayed. I am the villain and the victim. I am a rainbow of polarities, shaded in pastels, dark and light. Unchaining the blame, loosened with love. Ancestors, they surround me, their hands outstretched in healing, connecting with my truths now, ready to be spoken as I dust off the dirt, adding to the earthen spiral path that I now walk. And John O'Donoghue said in an interview, the lives we left are like a spiral meeting us all along the way. I love that. The lives we left are like a spiral meeting us all along the way. So that was Unchain the Blame. And the inspiration from that, I say it was in a dream. It's actually, sometimes I see these in journeys, in meditation journeys that I do. So someone had asked that I write about past lives, and I feel that's touching on past lives. I just saw, I must go across the lamp area. There is a bit of dust as well flying around, so Singola, I noticed it too. I love it. Slightly freaking me out, but I love it too. Beautiful. We're all safe here, right? Okay, shall we go on? Our final one. Final one already! Time flies when we're having fun. Can you hear that barking? It's a dog outside. Okay. This one is literally fresh off the block. I finished it a couple of hours ago. I didn't know if I'd get it written and finished, but that's the joy of a deadline for me. It's got to be done. So this is day 10 of the writing series, and this one's called Iona. So maybe some of you have been to the Isle of Iona in Scotland's Inner Hebrides, off the west coast of Scotland. So, Iona. It was on the Isle of Iona, the Inner Hebrides of Scotland's west coast, that my now husband proposed to me. We were visiting on a day trip from the Isle of Mull, where we were staying for a long weekend. And I can't remember the exact date, but it must have been back in 2002. I do remember it rained all weekend, cats and dogs. So much rain that we couldn't even go hiking or mountain climbing, because there's some lovely mountains on the Isle of Mull. But on that day, we took a short ferry journey to Iona, and the clouds parted magically and the rain ceased for a while. So if you've been to any of the Hebridean islands, as you approach the tiny Isle of Iona, the azure blue sea is a sight to be seen. And it's more like the Caribbean than Scotland, until you dip your toe into the freezing, salty water. It's freezing. Stepping off the ferry and onto dry land, the Isle has a certain quality of sound. It's like the sacredness of eons of ritual or ruminating in every nook and cranny of the land. Inhabitants, long gone now, sing out in the spirit of the sounds of waves crashing on the shoreline, the whispers of the wind, even on a calm day, seals barking on the rocks, birds flitting and chirping between the delicate macher, that's like the meadow in Scottish, visitors stepping carefully along the paths that pilgrims continue to tread. We step inside the ruins of the old church and add to the messages on tiny pieces of paper at an altar adorned with candles. We're getting married, yoo-hoo! Big broad smiles, anticipating the fantastic and fun future that would lie ahead. It was on the white strand of the monks, with the white silica sands, where he asked, as we gazed out west towards the wild Atlantic waves and beyond to Ireland, of course, marrying our Irish and Scottish heritage, reflecting the same symbolic history of Iona, from pagan and earth-based habitation to the arrival of Columba from Ireland, spreading early Celtic Christianity, to the Viking raids and plundering. It's said that the ancient Book of Kells may have been written on Iona and then transported to Kells in Ireland to be kept safe, and it's now in Trinity College Dublin. Maybe some of you have been to see it. The kings of Scotland, Ireland, and Norway are said to be buried in Iona. And of course, as I was writing this, I could feel that old voice again talking to me, that this is his story. Here is his story, written out all again. So these days, more than ever, I want to know her story. And I know all of you will be the same. The only feminine mention about Iona is the nunnery on Iona. And all I could think of was Hamlet's "Get thee to a nunnery" came to mind. So I find myself getting frustrated again by the lack of her information. And then I do my Google search and I happen upon this article that was written in 2010 by a lady called Iona Miller. and it's called Serpents of Iona. It is a fascinating and long read, and actually I can pop the link in the chat here if anyone wants to look at it right now, but I will also put it in the YouTube replay and our email replay. So there it is there. I've skimmed a lot of it. I haven't read it all word for word. I'm going to go back and it looks amazing. So I came across this article. This was about 4:30, 5 o'clock today, and thought, oh my goodness, I've got to rewrite this whole thing. But I didn't want to. I wanted to just share it as the journey as I was writing it. So it's so fascinating, and I just zoomed in on this particular quote that totally resonated with me deeply. So Iona Miller in this article shares that sacred sites are like tuning forks. Iona's colourful history is related to sea gods, King Arthur and Merlin, the Grail stories, St. Bridget and the Goddess, and of course Bridget before that, Sophia, the Virgin of the Light, and the archetypal Soror Mystica. Its mystery and magic includes tales of Templars, Eves, elves, fairies, and pixies, the Sidhe, or people of the hills, or the Shining Ones, as they're also called, the Tuatha De Danann, and Angel's Hill on Iona is associated with supernatural beings. And that is from Serpents of Iona. Even the very name of the article is intriguing. So now, after reading some excerpts from that article, I feel so connected. And I feel the connection of my path with the spiral path of Iona. And it's probably no coincidence that that's where we decided to get married. So as I return to my mystic roots, connecting with Goddess, with the witches, I can see, with some unraveling, how Iona has been an integral, initiative part of my journey. So some of our Earth's oldest rocks, Lewisian gneiss, are found in Iona as well, which I found out. And I feel a new spiral on my path is beginning to open up as I explore Iona. So yeah, that was so fascinating. Again, I hadn't realized I was going to write about Iona, and it was meant to be to find that out. And actually, I received an email from somebody whose mailing list I'm on, and they're doing a retreat in Iona next year. So how interesting. Regina, I love Iona, had a profound mystical experience there in 2014. Wow, I'd love to hear more about that. Helen, I've been to Trinity College to see the Book of Kells, seen the book, yes. It's beautiful, beautiful artwork on it, isn't there? Gorgeous. So that is 5 stories written out, shared with you tonight or today. And yeah, if you got any questions or anything else? Oh, thanks, Leslie-Anne. Beautiful romantic story. Yeah. And we went back, we've been back since with the kids years ago. But I would love to stay on the island because I've been twice now just for day visits. So yeah. Because it does get busy with tourists as well, when we used to be able to travel, right? Marianne, your stories are so powerful and beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. Lee, I've been dreaming of going to that area called by Hebrides Dolphin Centre. Oh, wow, how interesting. Thanks, Sharon. Wonderful Iona story. It's also a popular name as well. Wonderful. I really enjoyed the poetry and stories. Thank you so much, Vinvola. Ah, thanks, Helen. So love listening to your storytelling. Oh, well, thank you all. It's been wonderful. And if there's anything else that you want me to write about, let me know. Pop it in the chat or send me an email. I love receiving emails from you. So romantic, yeah. And even the Christian remains, there's Iona Abbey and the remains of the nunnery, and the Celtic crosses, it's gorgeous. If you even Google Iona, you get gorgeous pictures of the place as well. It's really powerful. And many do come on pilgrimages and kind of walk around the island chanting. It's really nice. Thank you, Misty. Love the stories. You're so welcome. Thank you, Elizabeth. Blessings. Thank you, Francesca, so much. Oh, write about strangers and friendships. Okay, I will. Yeah. Regina, I'll go back as soon as I can, travel again. Being called to my Scottish ancestors lately and the Cailleach. Oh, yes. Love your poetry. Today was magical. Thank you so much. Thanks, Yvonne. It's been so wonderful listening to your stories. Thank you so much for sharing. You're all so welcome. And it's just all the more pleasurable knowing that you're all here to share these stories with. It really, it just feels so much deeper doing it this way. So be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves. The replay will be up in a few moments. So on YouTube. So to everyone on YouTube as well, thank you very much. And thank you all. Oh, I can actually watch the stream on YouTube too and see myself.